can't anybody just be honest? They're waiting for Chrissy Teigen to get plastic surgery and end up Jackie O so that they can be roommates and make musicals together. Let's just be real.
Okay.
He'd rather spend time with John Legend than any of these bitches.
Well, I hope you're sitting down because the drama brewing around Common is messy as ever. This man has had no problem pulling some of the most elite women in Hollywood, and we're not just talking about Jennifer Hudson. The list is stacked. Serena Williams, Taraji P. Henson, Tiffany Haddish, Erykah Badu, Kim Jones, Ava DuVernay, Simone Bozeman, Jaguar Wright, and even Angela Rye. That's Hollywood royalty right there, creme de la creme. But here's the kicker. None of these women ever stayed with him, and people can't help but say Common just isn't the type you can lock down. See, Common himself once admitted that after the honeymoon phase in his relationships, he'd just vanish. He flat out said he's not addicted to physical stuff, but to the chase of love itself. Obsessed with the thrill of winning someone over, but once things got too steady, he'd get bored and walk away. That's cold, but it explains a lot.
That relationship is one of the greatest blessings and most important things in my life, in my whole journey in life. The friendship, the partnership, the life partnership, just the connection. Man, it's one of those things where you don't know truly like what true partnership and relationship is until you get there.
Now here comes Jennifer Hudson, thinking maybe she'd be the one to break the cycle and finally make Common commit. She really believed her charm could flip the script and turn him into a forever man. And to be fair, he did make it sound believable. Common told people he'd gone through therapy and swore in interviews that he was ready to settle down. He even hinted that if he was ever gonna marry anyone, it would be J. Hud. That had fans convinced we were about to see wedding bells. But lately, things aren't looking so picture perfect. Fans with sharp eyes have noticed some red flags. The two haven't been spotted together as often, their body language has shifted in public, and Jennifer's cryptic posts online have people whispering about hidden trouble. And here's where it gets even messier.
I found myself in what was called love addiction. My therapist broke it down, was like that feeling of being like, oh, I'm in love, and it's that honeymoon period that people call it. I was addicted to that.
There are rumors swirling that Common might already have his eye on someone else. Reports, still unconfirmed, claim he's been seen out without J. Hud, acting a little too friendly with other women. Nothing solid has come out yet, but let's be real. With Common's track record, nobody would be shocked if history was already repeating itself. But here's where it gets even juicier. Whispers are flying that Common has been out here allegedly telling people he just can't stand J. Hud anymore. Like, what could have possibly gone down between them for him to start spilling about why he supposedly doesn't want her around? Some insiders claim it all traces back to a proposal gone wrong, with Jennifer straight up refusing to marry him a couple of months ago. Remember those rumors about Common planning to pop the question? Well, word on the street is that when he finally tried, Jennifer wasn't having it. Sources close to her revealed that she didn't see herself walking down the aisle with Common, and the reason is messy but kinda obvious. First off, Jen knows Common's rep. The man has a whole resume of high-profile women and has never been able to lock one down. Even though he swept Jen off her feet, she still had her doubts, and she wasn't about to make a rushed decision that could blow up in her face. But let's be real, this is Common we're talking about. His love life has been headline news for years, so how could J. Hud only now start second-guessing him? Still, there's another layer here. People close to Jennifer say she's still carrying scars from her messy, toxic relationship with David Otunga. That whole situation left her shaken, and allegedly she's been telling friends she doesn't even believe marriage is in the cards for her anymore. And when Jennifer calls her past with David toxic, we already know she's not exaggerating. So even though Common tried to convince her that he was in it for the long haul, promising that he wasn't going to repeat his old patterns, Jen wasn't convinced. Sources claim she told him straight up she wasn't about to waste years in another dead-end engagement just to risk ending up with a broken marriage and back at square one. So maybe that's where things snapped between them. Maybe the rejection shifted the whole dynamic. Common allegedly realized that if Jen couldn't see a future with him, then what was the point of sticking around? And that could explain why the relationship's been looking shakier than ever. But let me tell you, that's not even the wildest part of this whole situation. The real bombshell floating around is that people are saying Common's issue with J. Hud might not have been about her at all, but about the fact that he allegedly doesn't even like women like that, and he just got tired of pretending. Now, y'all remember when his ex, Jaguar Wright, went on record spilling tea? She said she wished the world would finally learn the real truth about Common, claiming he doesn't truly love black women, and that he only dates them for clout, while using their shine to boost himself socially. Jaguar even went so far as to say Common would rather be with men, and that every woman who's been with him knows this deep down. That's a bold claim, and she didn't stop there. She pointed out something that had fans raising eyebrows. For a man who's dated so many high-profile women, none of them has ever gone public bragging about his performance in the bedroom. Not one. Now sure, that could just mean these women are classy and would rather keep things private. Or maybe Jaguar's comments hit closer to home than people want to admit. Could it be that Common really does prefer to play for the other team? Allegedly, of course. And here's where it gets even more eyebrow-raising. A story popped up about a Hollywood event this past summer. A man, described as white, tall, and ridiculously good-looking, claimed Common spent almost the entire night chatting him up while his wife, who works in the industry, was busy running the event. The man admitted he didn't even realize who Common was until his wife filled him in later. And get this, around 3 a.m., when the man was heading out, Common allegedly leaned in and asked him, "So, what are you doing later tonight?" The guy said, "Going home with my wife," and called the moment straight up awkward. According to the story, Common even asked again, as if to make sure he wasn't misreading the vibe. But the man swears he knew exactly what was being implied. And adding more fuel to the whispers, some people speculate that Common might be wrestling with his own sexuality because of personal trauma from the past. Allegedly, he once confided that he had been taken advantage of by a man, and some believe that experience could have left him conflicted when it comes to intimacy with women. If that's true, it would explain a lot about his complicated history in relationships. Now, I can't confirm all those whispers about how Common supposedly rolls, but let's not act like Jennifer Hudson's hands are squeaky clean either. Some folks are flipping the script and saying maybe J. Hud is the one who struggles to keep a man. Because let's be real, her history isn't exactly drama-free. Take her relationship with David Otunga, for example. That whole thing blew up in the ugliest way possible. David once accused Jennifer of creeping around with music producer Molly Music. She never admitted to it, but she didn't exactly clear the air either. Things only got messier when she filed for a protective order against David, claiming that his jealousy spiraled out of control. According to Jennifer, David would blow up her phone while she was at recording sessions in Chicago, and when he couldn't get through, she alleged that he went as far as having their son secretly record her to prove she was romantically involved with Molly. That's wild. In those same legal documents, Jennifer also painted a disturbing picture of David's behavior, alleging that he was becoming more aggressive, threatening, and unstable toward both her and their son. But David clapped back hard, calling her a liar and saying Jennifer was using her industry influence to ruin his name. He even claimed that he had been their son's primary caregiver from the very beginning, since Jennifer was often away touring, which directly contradicted her statement in court, saying she was the primary caregiver. And David wasn't done there. He also alleged that Jennifer pushed him to give up his career to focus on family life, only to later accuse him of freeloading. That's some serious whiplash. With all these accusations flying back and forth, the police eventually opened an investigation into Jennifer's claims. But here's the kicker. David was cleared after just a few months. Not long after, Jennifer voluntarily dropped her protective order against him with the one condition that he could never set foot on her property again. Nonetheless, David has always insisted that Jennifer was the one pulling the strings, using her fame and power to paint him as the villain while hiding her own demons. He flat out called her the real monster and warned people that she's not the sweet image she shows the world. So maybe, just maybe, Common also got a front row seat to that darker side of J. Hud and decided he just couldn't handle it anymore. And get this, there are even claims floating around that Jennifer allegedly started looking down on Common because she makes more money than him. Child, if that's true, it's a sad twist, because Jennifer knew who Common was before she ever let him into her world. If the money gap was going to be a problem, why dive in to begin with? At this point, though, everything is murky. Did Common really cheat? Is he slipping back into his old patterns? Or is Jennifer the one making things complicated behind closed doors? Nobody really knows for sure. For all we know, the two of them could still be together, laughing at all the rumors while the internet runs wild. But one thing's for sure. This story has everybody talking, and the streets are buzzing for answers. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think is really going on between Jennifer Hudson and Common? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more messy celebrity tea, and I'll catch you in the next one.